Welcome to Chicago Counterpoint Television, brought to you by the Fatherhood Educational Institute. I'm attorney Jeffrey Loving, and it's fantastic to be here. I'd like to introduce you to our guest for tonight, attorney Misty Gamino.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's fantastic to have you on the show. She's a fantastic lawyer, brilliant litigator. She's been saving lives and protecting children. She fought vigorously to protect a father who was falsely accused by his ex of sexual and physical abuse. Completely false, and won and succeeded there. Very, very important. In another case, she secured custody for an unwed dad of his 2-year-old girl after she was horrifically abused by her stepfather and her mother. And this unwed dad saved his little girl's life with Misty in court. And I really like to congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Just fantastic. And I really think you're doing a service to our community, to children, to families. This is really, really important. And also, before we start the show, I want to let everybody know, if they want any information about the Fatherhood Educational Institute, check out their website. You could see it on your television set. There's a lot of good information on it, fatherhood-edu.org, and you can see on the left there's me and U.S. Congressman Danny K. Davis, great friend of mine. Check out this website. It's a great, great website. And also, Chicago Counterpoint TV is a really, really important show, and the phone number and information on it is on your screen, so I gave you a quick shot of that. And also, before I start talking to Misty, I'm really, really honored to have her here, and I guess I have to take a caller, Misty. I guess the calls are starting too early, but I'll take the first call. Caller, you're on the air with Attorney Jeff Loving, and we're very fortunate to have as our legal expert today, Misty Gamino, a brilliant litigator, saving lives, protecting children and families. What can we do for you this evening?
A friend of mine is getting a divorce, and his wife said that she doesn't have to let him see the children unless he pays child support. Is that true?
Oh man, no, it's not at all. Child support and parenting time are two completely separate things. So, obviously the children need some support, so if he's paying it, that's great. If there's no order for child support, then he's not really obligated to do it. But he is entitled to reasonable parenting time. So absolutely he should be seeing the kids. And, he might have to just go to court and get a court order for it if she's being difficult. But a judge is not going to like that she's keeping the kids away from him, because he's just as much a parent as she is. So, if I would talk to him and tell him to get into court as soon as possible.
Exactly. If you have any other questions, call the Fatherhood Educational Institute, 312-738-1060. Our next caller, welcome to the show. I'm attorney Jeffrey Loving, and we have attorney Misty Gamino here. What can we do for you this evening?
Yes, Misty, I was wondering what your philosophy was in handling child custody cases.
Her philosophy is winning them and protecting children. But I appreciate your call, and Misty, would you like to answer that question? We probably have to talk quickly because we have more callers coming through.
I agree with you on that philosophy. I think, every case is different, and we just got to take the facts as we have them and try to get the best for each father out there.
Thank you. And the next caller, this is Attorney Jeff Loving. What can we do for you this evening? And Misty Gamino is a fantastic lawyer. She's here to answer your question.
Okay, my question is, my friend's grandson has kind of suddenly decided he doesn't want to see his father. He's about 11 or 12 years old, and so he's not seeing him. And also the mom, they're divorced, recently remarried. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Is there anything they can do?
Oh, absolutely. That sounds like a classic case of alienation. It sounds like the new relationship, the stepfather is probably interfering. Mom is probably trying to replace him as dad, and that's a problem. A 12-year-old is not an adult, so he has to go to parenting time, and mom has to make sure he does that. If she's not, then she's violating his parenting time, and he should get to court right away.
Before we take the next caller for more questions, you could always call the Fatherhood Educational Institute, 312-738-1060, and you can always take a look at their website. It's a great website. Next caller, you're on the air. You're on the air, caller.
Hi, I have a quick question here. I'm not married, but I had a child with someone, and I'm really catching a lot of threats and whatnot, and this person is just using awful language in front of our child, and I'm just really afraid that things are going to go south for him right now. I'm wondering what steps do you think need to be taken to make sure that my child's protected, because I'm very concerned and it's causing me a great deal of anxiety right now.
Wow, I mean, you and your child both need to be protected. It sounds like the relationship just stopped and you need to protect your son, your child as much as possible. So I think what you need to do is get into court to make sure you protect your relationship, establish your right to parentage, establish your right to custody of your child, and go from there. I think you just really need to protect him, but the only way for you to do it is to contact somebody who can help. You should really reach out to the Fatherhood Educational Institute.
Yeah, and please do that, 312-738-1060. Also consider getting a restraining order against this parental alienator, and then if it's entered and violated, this alienator could end up in Cook County Jail. You need accountability in these type of situations.
Absolutely.
But we do appreciate you calling, and also I wanted to let you know before we take the next call that Misty Gamino and myself were supporting the Chicago Bulls team and their charity. They have an important charity, and they had a charity event, and we were supporting it with Scottie Pippen. And there's a photo of Scottie Pippen, Misty Gamino, and myself supporting charity, supporting the Chicago Bulls charity. And what they do is they raise money and distribute it to other charities. A very good cause, because we have to remember, we have to give back to our community.
Absolutely.
Very, very important.
Charity is important.
Exactly. Next caller, you're on the air. I'm Attorney Jeff Loving, and we have Misty Gamino here. What can we do for you?
I'm really nervous, and I'm hoping you guys can help me. My ex-wife says she wants to move to New York with our son. I have joint custody. I see him like about half the time, and I take him to school, Boy Scouts, basketball, and now she says I'm going to see him maybe every a couple weeks in the summer. And she said if I don't sign and say it's okay, she's going to say that I beat her up and have me arrested.
Wow, that's a very serious issue. I mean, it sounds like you're a great father. You're really involved in your child's life, and that's great, and you need to protect that relationship. I mean, she could just leave, and then you'd have to be fighting her from New York, which is a problem. I think you can definitely go into court, get a restraining order against her to not leave the state. I mean, that's something that's really important so that you protect your relationship. It sounds like you're doing a great job as a father, and you need to continue doing that.
I always believe in using honey before vinegar, but keep in mind, if you need the vinegar, get the restraining order, because if she violates it, she could end up in jail. Accountability doesn't happen by itself. Problems don't resolve themselves. That's what you need to do. Our next caller, welcome to Chicago Counterpoint Television, sponsored by the Fatherhood Educational Institute. What can we do for you this evening?
Yeah, well, thanks for taking my call. I'm calling for a friend of mine. He is having some issues with the baby's mother. She's dating a guy. He doesn't know anything about the guy. He's heard through the rumor mill that this guy's a gangbanger, and that they're doing drugs in the house. And when he asks the mother about it, she says it's none of your business. And I'm wondering, what should he do? What can he do to protect his kid?
Wow, that's a really serious issue. I mean, that's a dangerous issue, and to not even know who's in the household, who's around the child, that's something serious. I think your friend needs some help from somebody who can investigate the matter, to look into the boyfriend, to see, what his criminal record is, to see what kind of activities he's into. He should go into court too to tell a judge what's going on and to protect the child. A judge is not gonna want, a child to be around a gangbanger, not be around something dangerous. That's something that he should really contact somebody who can help him. I think the Fatherhood Educational Institute is really somewhere he should give a call to help.
Exactly, and take a look at their website. The Fatherhood Educational Institute is a great website, and you can see it online right now. Fatherhood-edu.org, fatherhood-edu.org. It's a great website, and please take a look at it. Also, in the Chicago Tribune, there was an interesting publication, I'll show it to you right now, about CAN TV featuring attorney Misty Gamino, and this is the article. It's a very interesting article. It talks about her victories and her fight for justice. Our next caller, welcome to the show. I'm attorney Jeff Loving, and we have Misty Gamino here. What can we do for you?
Well, I have a bit of a child support issue here. I got a letter from the state the other day that says for some reason I'm behind on my child support. They're going to take my driver's license. I'm really worried about this because, driving is where I make most of my money. So if I don't have a license, then I don't have money coming in, and then I'm going to fall even farther behind.
Yeah, that's a problem that unfortunately a lot of fathers face, and so you're not alone, but there is a way for you to figure it out. You got to reach out to somebody, find out if you are behind on child support. If you're not, then it's a letter that needs to be taken care of, because a lot of times those letters get sent out and they're wrong, but a little bit of investigation needs to take place first. If you are behind on child support, it does happen, but we need to protect your way of making money first, so we need to enter into some kind of arrangement with the state and see if you can keep your license. But it is serious, because then if you are going to fall further behind, you risk jail time, you risk losing other types of licenses. It's really important that you reach out to somebody who can help you.
Thank you for calling. Our next caller, you're on the air with attorney Jeffrey Loving and Misty Gamino, brilliant litigator. What can we do for you this evening?
Hi. I have 3 kids. We've never been in court, the father and I, and I'm going to be moving to Florida, and the father says that he can stop me, and I said, no, you can't. We've never been to court. He doesn't have anything to say about it. So, but I just want to be sure. But can I just go with whether he likes it or not?
Well, that's not a very nice thing to do, considering he is the father of your children. But if you've never been to court before, I think he's going to have he's going to have to go to court, and he probably will stop you. If he's involved in their lives at all, then that's really something that a judge is going to decide if it's in the best interest for you to move and take the kids, especially if he's in their lives and he sees them often. That is something he can stop you from doing.
Always think of the children first. I know it's not easy. Sometimes there's anger and rage issues, but keep in mind, children need 2 parents. Fathers are really important. If you look at the statistics, you'll see that children who are father absent are more likely to become victims of abuse, especially for little girls. It's very, very serious. Children that are father absent are more likely to do poorer academically. And take a look at the Fatherhood Educational Institute's website, which we just put on the air, and take down their website and get some information on the effect of father absence on children. But it's terrible. The most reliable predictor of crime in America is father absence. So make sure you don't do anything that could cause your children to become victims of father absence. Now, obviously, I need a lot more information, but if you want to call the Fatherhood Educational Institute, I'll be glad to talk to you. Maybe you need a good mediator, psychologist, therapist, priest, but be careful. The children come first. Next caller, you're on the air. This is the Fatherhood Educational Institute's Chicago Counterpoint Television. and we are here to guide and make change, protect children, fathers, parents, families. What can we do for you this evening?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how possible it is as a father to obtain full custody of my child with all the gender bias going on.
Well, I'll let Misty answer that, but we are in a very gender-biased system. It's hard for dads because of the terrible bias against them and the discrimination. But keep one thing in mind. A lot of dads win custody fighting for their children because one thing I tell these dads, never give up, because courage is the magic that make dreams come true. And there's no greater joy than a father protecting his children. So the answer is fathers can win custody. Mothers can too. But the decision is really, really important. And keep in mind, whatever you do, focus on the best interest of the child. And that's really important. And I suggest you take a look at the Fatherhood Educational Institute's website, and it's on air right now. Take a look at it. Write their website down, fatherhood-edu.org. Look at their website, and it can't hurt. Learn what's going on and learn the importance of the best interest of children. Our next caller, welcome to the show. I'm attorney Jeffrey Leving. Very fortunate to have Misty Gamino here, brilliant attorney. What can she do for you this evening?
Well, thanks for taking my call. I have a 10-year-old stepson, and my wife and I have just started a divorce, and I've been a big part of his life, and he does not know his biological father. Am I going to lose all contact with him?
Oh, no, not if you take the right steps. It's really important. You've been there for him for a very long time. He knows you, especially you're the only father figure in his life. It's important. The law does provide for step parents to still maintain contact with non-biological children. It's a new important step that the statute has put into effect to maintain those relationships that wasn't there before. And so you absolutely do, and I think you should maintain that relationship because it sounds like you two have a really good bond, and you should stay in his life because that would probably be good for him. So ask for parenting time, absolutely, because you're just as much a parent as his mom is.
Thank you for calling. Catherine Delgadillo, a brilliant lawyer, just secured parenting time, which I view as sole custody, based on my review of the court order, for a non-biological parent, completely unrelated biologically to the child. The court gave a person completely unrelated to a child all the rights of a custodial parent. So the laws have changed. They're very different right now. Next caller, you're on the air. I'm attorney Jeff Loving, and we have attorney Misty Gamino here to answer your question.
Yes, I was just wondering if you could tell me more about your experience in representing clients through the immigration process.
Well, the immigration process is difficult. It's always changing, and everybody's experience is a little different with it. It's really hard to give any kind of insight without knowing what's going on in a certain person's life and what their history is. So it's a difficult situation just because the law is always changing and it's a very political realm. But I'd advise anybody who has any kind of immigration issues to speak with a qualified attorney.
And also just call the Fatherhood Educational Institute.
Yep.
The number's right on the screen, 312-738-1060. And keep one thing in mind, the Fatherhood Educational Institute's website is a great website. I suggest take a look at it. It's fantastic. And also take a look at the article in the Tribune about Attorney of the Year, matrimonial litigator, Misty Gamino. Fantastic article. I really like it a lot, and
Thank you.
and it's written brilliantly, and it's a fantastic article. So read it. And one thing I would like to do is talk a little bit with Misty Gamino about her recent victory involving obtaining custody of a dad of a 2-year-old who was being badly abused by the mother.
Yeah.
How did you win this custody case for this dad, and it's sort of sad that the mother was abusing this child.
Yeah, it was, it was such a difficult case. It went on for a lot longer than it should have because the court kept trying to give mom more chances, which I find happens a lot more for moms than for dads, which is unfair. But we just kept fighting, and he won sole custody of his daughter, and mom has supervised parenting time because she was abusing the child and she wasn't protecting the child from abuse from the stepfather. It was really sad and horrific to see a little child who's defenseless be abused like that. But dad didn't stop fighting, and we won him custody, which was really happy. He was very happy when we got the final court order.
And thank you. We only have 5 minutes left, but I have one quick question for Mr. Gamino. What should somebody do if their parenting time, their visitation with their child is being interfered with? What should they do?
Well, they should take the first step. If they don't have an attorney, they should get one. Contact maybe the Fatherhood Educational Institute to reach out to somebody who can help them. And they should get into court immediately to try to hold the other side in what's called contempt of court, because it's a serious interference, it's alienation, and it's a criminal offense now, which is something that it wasn't before. And it's something that is serious, and parenting time needs to be defended. So they should absolutely reach out to somebody who can help them to enforce their parenting time.
Well, thank you, Missy. It's great having you on.
Thank you.
I hope we can get you on again.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic educational information, brilliant attorney, and we appreciate it because it's hard to get attorneys that care like Misty to come on the show for free and give out this type of guidance, because this is important for our community, for our society, for our entire state. I recently spoke with our old governor, Pat Quinn, today in my office with Misty, and this is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we were talking about. Now, if you couldn't get on the air, because we do have to go off the air now, the show's over, you could always call me tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Power 92.3 FM. I'll be on from 9A to 10A if you have any questions. And if you can't call Saturday, we'll be back here Monday, 7:30 p.m., our regular show, regular hour, and it's going to be a little different. We're going to be talking about protecting you and your children from civil rights violations by the police and the government and government agencies. It's going to be a different show.
It's a great topic.
And we're also talking about birth defects, disabled children, children that are born with birth defects because of improper prenatal care and medical negligence. And tune in and learn your legal rights. You need to educate yourself. Education is the key to survival. It's not what you know that'll hurt you, it's what you don't know. So tune in to either show, either the radio show tomorrow, Power 92.3 FM, or Monday back here. We'll be here the same place, Monday, 7:30 p.m., and we're going to be talking about everything. We're also going to be talking about fathers' rights, but we're also going to be talking about civil rights and race-based discrimination as well as gender. And this is really, really important. So I look forward to seeing everybody either next Monday on CAN TV or earlier tomorrow on Power 92, whatever is convenient for you, because I want to get your questions answered. And again, thank you again, Misty.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Okay, so have a great evening, a great Friday evening, and God bless.
Good night.